currently the trajectory for Rhino is that we are sliding down the slope towards extinction.
They kill the rhinos, they cut their horns, they sell them for money. They really need protection. They need to be protected from us.
Global Conservation Force overall is a wildlife protection and conservation organization. The team is a collective of veterinarians, researchers, anti-poaching rangers, conservationists, our canines, our mounted units, and all of the affiliated efforts in between. So a large throw of folks who have a wide set of skills in animals, wildlife conservation, and in anti-poaching. The poaching system is extremely complex. It's not only protecting the rhino that are here, it's preventing the rest of the rhino from getting taken, while at the same time trying to stabilize the situation so that more people don't get caught up in the mess of corruption and the syndicate system.
So from like a young age, little boys are pushed to go into poaching because there's money in it.
There's money in it, that's open opportunity. Actually, poachers are heroes in the community, in their community, because they spend this money there, back there.
So you see younger players in the scheme for rhinos who see other young men who have money, the fast cars, and the girls, and they idolize them because they don't have that.
The dealers don't tell them how much they're gonna get. They just tell them it's shitload of money. You know, the guys run for it.
So then they get caught up in that system and they become the ground guy or the pawn for those intermediate syndicate players.
When they get that money in cash, like they feel like gods, now they have the whole wealth. Now they will spend that money.
That becomes a real problem because that's what we call the poacher's false economy. They're living in an economy with money that actually isn't going to stay.
In a week or two, money's gone, they go back.
And so what happens when that goes away? They're going to go to other crime.
Give them alternatives to poaching and you've got a chance. If we don't succeed in doing that, all this effort that we are going to now could unravel, in a decade.
One of our main areas of nonprofit efforts and missions is our ranger training division. The biggest goal in ranger training is to build resilient, confident, independent young men and women who are leaders for their communities as examples and ambassadors of conservation.
Rangers are a massive part of any successful conservation program. They are the ones on the front line, facing poachers head on and protecting our wildlife.
Over the course of the last 5 weeks, these recruits have gone through a really wide scale of skills: radios, tracking, fitness, vehicles, tire changes, swimming, safety, first aid, emergency casualty care, bushcraft. On top of that, learning how to operate all skills together on little to no sleep, under high pressure and stress, in a very stressful environment with dangerous game. So it's really important for us to set them up for success so that after all is done, I can feel confident that they're going to be safe in the environment they're working.
In this field, you never know when something is going to happen. You need to be able to respond immediately and be ready in full kit and full uniform, armed and ready to go to take on any task that happens.
Most of the time, the poachers aren't going to just open fire on you. Their goal is to get away. This goal of this drill is to get you guys to work better with your communication, faster, and silently. If I don't see you protecting your tracker, he's dead. If your team leader doesn't manage you, he's dead. If I see all you screwing up, I'm gonna shoot the whole squad. Understood?
Yes, sir.
If I shoot you, you owe me 15 push-ups each time. Don't fuck up.
You're gonna treat those guys like poachers. You go find them, you arrest them, because they will treat you like rangers. They will do what a poacher will do to you in the bush there. Okay? Yes, I do.
We're not doing this just to screw with you. Especially in these drills, we're starting to make them hard, as you guys know. But you guys did really well in this last one.
You are no good to wildlife, protecting wildlife, if you can't take care of yourself. And so first aid has been an integral part of this anti-poaching program. Chris has done a great job in getting us all ready for the field. We have first aid on our minds at all times and ready to apply and fix any issue that happens in the field and get ourselves or our partners out of dangerous situations.
As Global Conservation Forces field medic instructor, my role is obviously to give them a capability to deal with medical emergencies such as shooting, stabbing, all that sort of stuff. But then of course there's always the constant danger of the bush itself. Many of the animals that they're protecting would actively harm them.
The threat from wildlife, like these animals we're out there protecting, they've got no idea we're on their side. If you find an old buffalo bull there in a mud wallow and you surprise it, there's trouble. You come onto a pride alliance, surprise them, there's trouble. Elephant can be trouble. Not only the suspect or poacher threat, but the wildlife threat, it's real. And yeah, Oak's just got to stay vigilant and stay on top of it. Mental game's got to be strong.
So this morning we're doing a medical evacuation exercise where we have a simulated buffalo goring. This is going to be new to them. They've not done anything to this scale before. We've added a lot of realism with casualty simulation, and of course our casualty will be acting as if he's really injured.
Where are you?
Down the road.
Down the road, copy that. We'll be there now.
Okay guys, let's go. Let's go.
He's not breathing, he's got no pulse.
Our patient died. Why?
And we decided it was a buffalo. And he's all big holes in his stomach. There's another one in here. And nobody found that. That's why he died, because nobody looked for another wound. You know, he would bleed to death.
Did it feel real? Was it scary?
Yes.
Sometimes when we're in an emergency, it's gonna happen just like this. In fact, a lot of times it's gonna be pretty close to this. We wanted you guys to panic. Then when you see Daniel, your frame of mind's already in the accident scene.
The application of a canine or a working dog in an anti-poaching unit has lots of benefits. Oftentimes we cross areas that the terrain is very difficult to visually man-track, and that's where the dog's sense of smell can be extremely beneficial. They don't need to physically see the track, they can follow the track by the scent. We have substance detection dogs or sniffer dogs. They get used at the ports, airports, container ships. So we can use sniffer dogs to find these highly trafficked wildlife species. And then lastly, we have the protection or apprehension side.
If you are forced to fight, sometimes you will fight. You have no choice. Your life depends on it.
If the dog and the ranger's life is in danger, the dog can then protect them as a team.
Good. Back. Calm. You cool? Calm. Okay. Give her some praise here. You touch her, she's fine. You run her. Good girl, Denali.
That I believe if you have a good combination of a canine tracking team as well as visual man trackers, that will be the best result. Another benefit is just the companionship and having a partner with you. Having a canine companion, I found in my career, was extremely beneficial. Just the motivation, the camaraderie, and keeps you motivated, keeps you vigilant, and it's someone there with you that never leaves your side. To me, that is almost an invaluable addition to the team.
Coming out here and taking part of this anti-poaching program, I've realized how undervalued rangers are. It's super dangerous out there, not only from animals, but also the poachers, the ones that are coming in and trying to take our precious wildlife from us.
I myself have been in a few sticky situations in my career as a field ranger. One time in particular, my personal dog Bandit came to my aid in what is arguably one of the hardest situations I've found myself in. We were tracking suspects in the bush. I actually had a visual on two of the suspects. They split off. I followed one of them. It was summertime in the low veld, so the bush is very, very thick and dense. You can't really see much. In this rush, I lost my teammate as well as my dog. It happened so fast. It's a split second. So before I knew it, I was alone in the middle of the bush. Managed to take the one of the suspects down, but he fought back, and the next thing I knew, I was in a pretty bad position. He had pushed me over a rock in the riverbed, pushed his thumbs in my eyes and bit my arm open. So before I knew it, I was on my ass in the river, and this suspect was trying to drown me under the water. It was the first time being in a situation like that where I realized I can't fight my way out of this. Thankfully, Bandit came out of the bush and he bit the suspect off me. I managed to get up out of the water. My partner, my teammate, also at that time came rushing out of the bush. He fired some warning shots. The suspect tried to run away a second time. This time was different. Bandit knew what was going on, and he successfully apprehended the suspect exactly where trained on the tricep. Nice strike, took him down, and we effected an arrest. He saved my life that day. I was on the verge of starting to see stars, and my boy came up for me that day, and I'll owe him for the rest of my life for that. Most of the time, nothing happens. Okay, it's like hurry up and wait kind of vibe, and it's mundane, patrols, same thing, fence lines, walking, checking, looking for spoor, nothing, and then all of a sudden, these incidents happen.
Okay, so for reals, guys, this is absolutely not a drill. This is not a joke. This is not training.
Yes, it is.
There's an actual drone that keeps flying over the rhinos right now. We are trying to locate who's flying it, but it keeps going back over the rhinos. Obviously, this is not good.
I have a visual of the drone just flying over Blue Hill.
Copy that. So I'm going to go ahead and take 4 and drop them on grid references for deployment on the Ks.
Papa 1 is now looking at Rhino asset at W5 within audible distance.
So last night, a drone with a long flight duration above a standard market drone was up multiple times over the rhinos. We did luck out last night. We had an insane storm, and so that did bring that thing out of the sky. At the same time, the weather and the elements won't stop rhino poachers, and we know that they do like to use storms for cover for their gunshots. Today,
The AM teams have been checking all of the rhinos, getting counts, and we're just gonna have to be ready and stay ready.
A lot of these kids, they had never been around a horse. They have never seen a horse, they have never touched a horse, and they've certainly never ridden a horse. They've gone from sort of a fearful place with them to a true love and respect. And our mounted unit is now finding that it really does help the rangers and ranger retention. They're their partners, and so they stay on the job a lot longer. And they are going to be the ones that are going to be able to share that experience with the younger generation. We are the only mounted unit active in the Eastern Cape right now. So if a fence line patrol to show presence is something out of the norm in this area. So if another reserve just called us and said, hey, could you bring your horses and just do a fence line patrol? We just need to break up what the poachers think we have. And all of a sudden they would literally be, the scouts didn't tell us about these horses, where did these horses come from? So being able to go areas that the vehicles cannot get to in this new property is where we are going to make the absolute most impact. Coming out of this training course, we already have a few guys identified that really want to come on as the next, woo! I'm getting a little emotional. To see a few of these guys coming out of the training course want to help to join on the mounted unit and they've never been around horses in their life tells me we're doing something right.
We've got about 2 minutes until they start to slow down.
So we'll try not to start the calf. The calf's probably going to want to stay with her, so there will be a little bit of stress getting them separated. We're going to try and keep this anesthetic as light as possible, so it's safe, but it does mean that she might stand up while we're working with her, so just bear that in mind, please. Be careful of the area in front of her. Today we're here to add an additional layer of technology to their protection, thanks to the innovation of SB LaRue. And this tracking device has artificial intelligence in it, and it will allow us for the first time to get an early warning system when she starts to behave differently in any way.
Ultimately, this saves time for the rangers and the rhino monitors, so that enhances the protection and the conservation efforts.
Okay, we're going to get up here. Just keep rocking it.
Unfortunately, during the course of this program where these recruits have come in from different communities, 8 rhinos have been killed by poachers in the local surrounding areas and other reserves, and 1 was shot but is on the road to recovery. Sadly, at the same time, if you were to look at the scope of the country, over 60 have been killed in the time frame we've been running this course.
You don't just prevent them just like because you have a gun. They will still come in and they will still commit murder to the same lives that you're protecting, you know. It will go on as long as it's still on demand. The demand of rhino horn has always been high.
Every time a rhino is killed, the syndicates and the poachers now have a financial investment in the reoccurring system that they're using against us. And every single one of those investments against us is a lot larger than the common donations we are all receiving as conservation organizations.
As things continue to fall, the trajectory of these populations continue to fall, there needs to be drastic steps the other way to rebound and get things going in the other direction. Funding is definitely a massive part in that.
One of the things that's actually unique and that we're proud of at Global Conservation Force is that we can facilitate your funding in a wide variety of different avenues. We can make it as direct as a pair of boots, or as big as dropping an entire fence line and expanding reserves and securing more land for wildlife.
Nothing's for free, unfortunately. It takes a lot of resources to keep this going. Donations go directly to the ground where the dogs are kept. Food, kenneling, training, equipment, you name it. But every bit helps and it goes a long way.
You really have no idea how far the dollar goes in Africa if you've not been here. It sounds so trite to say every dollar helps, but it really does. So literally, a $25 donation is 9 days to feed my unit of 3 horses that I have right now. Maybe you can't afford to support one of my rangers or one of my horses, but the accumulation of the money is going to do just that.
One of the reasons we actually started the nonprofit was because we felt like there was a gap between donor dollars and the connection to the projects, and we really like to do that wherever we can.
Get up, guys. Everybody up. On the parade.
Good news, bad news. Bad news is all the extra time you owe me starts now. Good news? It's the beginning of the last day of your course. Understood?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright. So it's time for beach day.
Yes, sir.
We're at the beach.
Yes, sir.
It is 1:20 in the morning. I'll see you guys at the Bushman's River, 30 k's away. Last time I did this, it took us roughly 6 hours. So I'll see you guys around 7:30 in the morning. This is a team exercise, meaning everybody needs to make it to the finish line. Okay?
Yes, Sergeant.
Good. On the other side will be your beret ceremony, your friends and family, and the braai and the beer. So that's your motivation.
So this is truly starting their adult life with success, and most of them are going to be the pillars of support for their entire family. So they become the breadwinner for their families. They become the role model for the young men and women in their communities. They become the ambassador for conservation and reconnect wildlife to their ancestral communities so that the next generation can come up and aspire to be them.
What gives me hope is the guys will now, they will have a job. They will start earning a salary a month. Start working, they're still young and they cannot be easily tricked to become poachers.
Innas marinjas dalle hlathini makaya songena kanje. Innas marinjas dalle hlathini makaya songena kanje. Ngena kanjani emakaya songena kanjani. Emakaya songena kanjani. Emakaya songena kanjani. Emakaya songena kanjani. Emakaya songena kanjani.
You guys are cute.
Popcorn! What was this?
Popcorn!
What are we?
Rangers!
What are we?
Rangers!
This training, it gives you a sense of meaning, and it's really great to align yourself with a team of other fellow guys that are coming in here to protect wildlife.
A lot of youngsters come up wanting to join the military, but the opportunity might not be there, and some often integrate into conservation or anti-poaching. It's the same base, like doing something mentally and physically challenging, but for a cause.
Having this group of recruits who've come from our local communities is another layer of hope that they want to be a part of the solution.
I realise how hard these guys work in really rough, hard conditions. It's dangerous, and they do it for a job, but they also do it for passion.
With that, I introduce you guys to the 2023 graduate class of Global Conservation Forces Field Rangers.
I got my first parade, and this is the first time I graduate. And now I'll be working as a field ranger. I'll be patrolling on horseback. I love nature, and I've got passion for it. I know a lot about it. It's not just basic information that I've got. It's knowledge that I can use and share with the others and influence them to protect the wildlife.
We got a passion for wildlife, free open spaces, not many left. But for what it's worth, the ones that are here, we are willing to protect it with our lives. This is a cause and a lifestyle and I can't explain it, just something worth fighting for. And that's why we're still here and we keep fighting.